okay, maybe this will become a thing if the dreams keep coming, but this is Dream Story Time with Music number 2. So last night, the dream involves, in a roundabout way, a guitar like this. I am sitting, standing, something, talking with some woman, some female. I have something at stake in this. There's a, for lack of a better term, a romantic air about it, meaning that I have that kind of interest in things going well. And I was in some kind of home space and we kept trying to talk, but I had this music on and it was too loud. It was one of those moments where you're like, I'm sorry, this music's just too loud. And then I would kind of like turn it down a little and we'd go back to, I'm trying to listen to her and talk, and then it's just like one of those, just kind of embarrassing, like, still just kind of too loud, so you turn it down. And speaking of too loud, I got one bone over here, and I gotta take his bone. You can't chew it right now, man. You're too noisy. So, the funny thing about it is the music that's too loud is Diary of a Madman by Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads. Ozzy Osbourne is the record. Randy Rhoads is the guitar player who wrote the piece, the guitar parts at least, and probably most of the composition from what we can tell, and who based it upon a famous classical etude. And I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm going to play it for you, at least the part that's relevant, and maybe some other parts later, and then I'll tell you more about the story. So, it was only the introduction that sort of kept playing over and over in the dream, and it was a little bit messed up, not in the sense that I thought in the dream it's messed up, but in recollecting it I can see that it wasn't played, it wasn't the way it is on the record or whatever. But I just thought that was real interesting. Now, talking about Randy, and can I talk about Randy Rhoads? So that's the reason I have this guitar. This is very much like one that he would have used for a lot of his recordings. This is a stripped down, poor man's version of a Les Paul Custom. I'm lucky that this one from 1992 has all the same real specifications that a Custom would have, although not the same as, this is getting really geeky stuff. His is a 70s one. It had the weird 3-piece maple neck, which I think is absolutely central to the sound that he had, absolutely. So any Les Paul Custom as we make them now, whether it has a maple cap or not, which his did, is not actually, his had a pancake body with maple cap and a maple slice in the middle. All those things are weird. His guitar was weird, so the idea you can just grab a Les Paul and it's going to sound like him doesn't make much sense. But at least aesthetically this is close, other than not having the fancy appointments. And it is close in other ways. It is a mahogany body, it has an ebony fingerboard, which is also crucial in my opinion, etc., etc. So that's all the guitar geekery we're going to get into as far as gear, but not all we're going to get into as far as music. So this piece, Randy, anybody who's familiar with Randy knows that he was studying classical guitar. His mom owned a school. I am sorry I'm forgetting the name of that at this moment, but she owned a school in the Los Angeles area. And she was just kind of your classic music teacher. She taught piano lessons, and she had Randy learning from a teacher, a young teacher at her school. And in a year or less, that teacher went to Dolores Rhoads, D, and said, you know, basically, I don't want you to waste your money. I've taught him. He knows everything I know. So Randy started teaching there, etc., etc. And so he's developing this hard rock thing. He ends up playing Quiet Riot, who apparently was still really ill-formed and vague and not amazing at the time that he was with them, and he moved on from that. But when he got the Aussie call. But in any event, he was teaching there and he was studying classical guitar. So if you're studying classical guitar, like I did the smidgenest bit of, just the tiniest bit, you're gonna come across a guy named Brouwer. He wrote these, most well known for his etudes that he wrote, and they were unusual. He wrote them and they had what, for the time, I think this would have been, pardon me, music historians, somewhere in the late 50s-ish, 50s to early 60s, so fairly modern. So Brouwer study number 6 is actually like this. It's just a right hand study. Technique behind it, but if it's a really well-written etude, you don't know it any different than just being an amazing piece of music. They might have some consistent patterns throughout. So obviously, Randy, I cannot believe, I know other people have noticed, I've never heard anybody reference this, and I just assume that it's known, so maybe this is why I have the screen so I can share this video. Obviously, Randy is studying, and he writes, My platform is Guitars Ruin Lives. It's growing, it is being fleshed out over time as life allows. And that is part of the message, is that we don't need to wait for something perfect to present to the world. Because what is that really about is like, well, maybe if everything is perfect, then nobody can critique me. Well, guess what? Spoiler alert, they're gonna critique you. And that's why you shouldn't listen to anybody. There's a great book by Hugh MacLeod. It's called Ignore Everybody. You should check it out. It's mostly cartoons. Very easy to read, very short, big pictures. It agrees with my brain, and it's not a big commitment. But Ignore Everybody is really good advice. I've been following it for a good while now, and yeah. And everybody, what that really means is everybody who doesn't have any business giving you advice, because there's so few people that have any business giving you advice of any kind. I could talk more about all kinds of ideology and success, things like that. dubious source for that kind of thing, but my dog is just insistent on making a bunch of noise now, and that's gonna stay in the video too, because it's real life. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching it elsewhere, you know, follow, like, share, comment, all that stuff. Let the internet know that you are interested in what I'm doing, so the internet knows to try and share that with other people too, and keep sharing with you most importantly. Thank you. Bye-bye.